coolest player in volleyball history. If you look at her, you will understand what I mean. She'll hit the hardest ball, and then the next time she will just place it in the middle, to the line, cross court, from the back row. Hi everybody, welcome to another video. The 2024 Paris Olympics are almost here. We have 12 teams that qualified and they will battle it out for Olympic glory. And out of these 12 teams, today I would like to focus on two teams that people might not think a lot about: the Netherlands and the Dominican Republic. Now, first thing to say about these teams, they're neither at the very top nor at the bottom of these 12 teams that qualified. Of course, at the top we have our Italy, our Turkey, USA were Olympic champions 3 years ago. We have Japan and Brazil, which did incredibly at the VNL. We have China, which is quite a wild card. Serbia, you can never count out. They snatched the medal at the last two Olympics. And we have Poland, who's been doing so well and is so hungry for an Olympic medal. And then we have France and Kenya. France qualified being Olympic host for the first time ever. They entered the VNL just on time for the Olympic year. It's great to see them there, but they don't have the level yet. They will just be happy to be there along for the ride. Fun team to watch because they are so happy and joyful. And we have Kenya. Since there has to be at least one representative for each continent, Kenya is the best African nation and that's how they qualified, but they're also ranked 20th in the world. So where do the Dominican Republic and the Netherlands place themselves in all this? Well, if we look at the international ranking, the Netherlands are placed 8th and the Dominican Republic 11th. Now, looking at this, one would assume that the Netherlands are better than the Dominican Republic. Well, that's not necessarily true. The Dominican Republic is the more experienced team. They're a team that qualified for the Olympics last year during the Olympic qualifiers, and this is a feat that countries like Italy and China weren't able to accomplish. And on the other hand, we have the hunger and the enthusiasm of a very young Dutch team. They want to win, and indeed win they did, because they did snatch their last available spot at the Olympics. It was either them or Canada, and they did it. So why is this matchup so important anyways? Well, usually at the Olympics, we have two pools of 6 teams. The top 4 teams will proceed to the quarterfinals. But this time we have 3 pools of 4 teams each. The top 2 teams of each pool will indeed continue to the quarterfinals, and the remaining 2 spots will be filled in by the 2 best third qualified. If we take for granted that Italy and Turkey will qualify first and second, which team between the Dominican Republic and the Netherlands will be able to continue their Olympic dream? That's a question that we will answer in real life next month at the Olympics. But what we can do now is have a little preview of what might happen between these 2 teams, because we had a matchup between the Dominican Republic and the Netherlands just this month at the VNL, and it was a good one. The first thing I like to look at is how Galia Gonzalez has been trying to deal with both the Dutch block and with the setter of the Dutch team, Britt Bongaerts, being pretty good at picking up her balls. Galia has this 2 people block in front of her. She's trying to avoid the blocks. She goes short in position 1, around 1 meter behind the 3-meter line. Bongaerts is there, and she's able to pick up her balls. So she's left with only 2 options. She can either go for that corner, and she's pretty good at finding that corner, but often the Dutch block, which is quite tall and quite good, won't let her. She can try to just push it into the block and out, which she did also in this match, but there's a bigger chance of getting monster blocked as well. Another thing to highlight is the fact that the Dominican Republic struggled all around in defense in this matchup. They struggled when they had no libero on the court. The middle goes to position 5, and they don't move at all. So it's very easy for the Dutchies to just tip the ball behind the block. They struggle sometimes with positioning. I expect a lot of this to be cleaned up when Brenda Castillo is there. Brenda Castillo, next to winning my very personal prize for coolest player in volleyball history, if you look at her, you will understand what I mean. She also has a ridiculously long list of accolades for best receiver and best digger. She took a little break this summer and didn't take part in the VNL. I expect her to try and pick up all those balls that Nova Marin tipped in the middle of the court. Nova Marin is really sneaky. Like, she'll hit the hardest ball, and then the next time she will just poof, place it in the middle, and she found a giant hole in the middle of the Dominican court. Going back to the Dutch attackers, Dambrink, incredibly reliable, to the line, cross court, from the back row. The Dominicans were able to block her sometimes, especially one-on-one block that was quite impressive. And there's one particular play where Marte was forced to set with one hand, and Gonzalez was able really quickly to spike in the middle of that forming block and score. But there's something that the Dominicans need to work through in their matchup with the Dutchies, which is when the Dutchies realize realize that the attack is gonna go to the outside hitter for sure, they bring their outside hitter to form a 3-person block. They did this time and time again, and that's a block that's really hard to go around. And lastly, it's interesting to see that the Dutch mid, especially Bayerns, often goes for that slide attack, and it's interesting because they will match up against Turkey, and Turkey has the queen of slide attack at them. Would be fun to see if Eda, who is so experienced, will be able to read Bayerns and Timmerman better. Overall, this match was won by the Dutchies, who showed to be just better in this particular occasion. I expect the Dutchies to win again because of what they showed at the VNL, but the Dominicans don't give up easily, and I'm sure they'll bring their best game at the Olympics. I'm just excited for this matchup. I think it will be a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed this video and you got something useful from it. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you next time.